You are performing this repair at your own risk. We cannot be held responsible for any injuries or damages done to your device while attempting a repair. Although we'll be working on a 30 gig model today, the same process would go for both the 60 and 80 gig models of the iPod video. Additionally, it makes no difference whether your iPod is white or black. It's only a different colored click wheel and front panel. To go ahead and get started, we're going to apply a slight pressure on the back center in order to allow the back casing to come slightly away from the front, allowing us to wedge our tool in there. We'll slide our case opener tool along one half of the iPod, releasing the clips. And this will allow us to remove the back casing from the front. Now be careful, because there is a battery cable still attached near the bottom. So I'll zoom in for you, because this is an extremely important part. This is where a lot of people will damage their iPod beyond repair. You don't want to remove this entire port. You just want to gently lift up on the brown clip, which will sit in place. It just releases the tension between the battery cable, allowing you to slip it out of place. You don't want to remove the port completely, because you could damage your iPod beyond repair. Now that back case will open to the left, and now we'll again zoom in, because we have another clip to undo that's holding the headphone jack and hold switch cable in place. And you want to gently lift up, slide your flathead underneath of the brown clip, and lift it in the vertical direction, releasing the tension and allowing us to remove the cable. Once we remove that cable, we can set the rest of the iPod aside and deal strictly with the back metal plate, which is still holding the battery and headphone jack. Now, it's not a bad idea to replace the battery if you're replacing the headphone jack or doing any kind of repair on your iPod. If it's open, might as well replace the battery. They're cheap, and each one only has a finite number of charges per lifetime. We're now ready to remove the hard drive. And to do this, we'll use our small flathead screwdriver to flip this black tab upwards in the vertical direction. What we've done is release a tension holding this cable in place, allowing us to remove the drive. Our next step will be to remove 6 Phillips screws holding the front panel to the metal frame. We're now free to remove the front panel, and we'll do this by pressing our thumbs on the click wheel and pulling upwards on the sides of the panel. Before we can install our front panel, we want to make sure the click wheel center button is flush with the rest of the click wheel. One brief side note, you'll notice 5 rubber circles, one on each of the 5 buttons located on the logic board beneath the actual click wheel. These do have an adhesive on the rear, allowing you to remove them and recenter them. If any of these are not centered on their respective buttons, you'll want to recenter them so that the click wheel buttons press normally. The 4 notches on the center plastic piece have to be oriented correctly to sit inside the surrounding click wheel. Here's a replacement front panel. We'll first remove the plastic from the front, followed by the cover over the inside of the screen. We can now install our front panel and insert the 6 screws holding it in place. We can now plug the hard drive back into its connector. We'll insert the cable into the port shown here, and then we'll flip the black tab back down. We're now ready to plug in the headphone jack and hold switch cable. And you just want to insert the cable into the port and then flip the latch downward. We'll flip the hard drive back and make sure it's tucked in properly. We'll take our rubber bumpers and put those back in place. And now we're almost ready to close up the iPod. But before we do that, we still have to reconnect the battery. We'll get another close-up on that. And in order to do this, we take the cable, put it into the port, and then we're just going to apply a downward force on the black clip, which will lock that in place. Now we're ready to close up the iPod. You want to apply an equal force on all sides of the iPod. And our repair is complete. iPod looks good. We'll power it on. Hopefully you found this tutorial to be helpful. You can find all the parts and tools necessary to complete this repair on our website. Thanks for watching.